Welcome to this explainer. Today, we are tracing the DNA of an absolute street icon. We're talking about a machine that didn't just casually join the lightweight sports bike segment, it completely rewrote the rulebook on what riders expected from a small displacement motorcycle. Okay, let's dive into this. To the uninitiated, sure, it's just the Yamaha R15. But to the fans, it is so much more. It's literally one bike representing millions of dreams. We're looking at a single, unifying platform that has sparked endless emotions and, burnt a whole lot of rubber across 4 very distinct generations. So here's how we're going to track this evolution today. First, the birth of a legend. Then, Gen 2 gets sharper, followed by the Gen 3 design revolution. After that, we'll hit Gen 4 ultimate control, and finally wrap up with how the R15 legacy continues.
This whole journey spans over 14 years of engineering. We'll kick things off with Gen 1 back in 2008, track its aggressive middle years, and ride right up to Gen 4, which has been carving up the streets from 2022 to the present day.
All right, let's get into Chapter 1, Birth of a Legend, the Gen 1 era from 2008 to 2011.
Now, what's really interesting about the start of this journey is just how light and agile it was. This is pure, unadulterated Gen 1. The design language was raw, pure, and honestly, just incredibly iconic. It proved, once and for all, that you didn't need a massive, heavy machine to get a thrilling, dynamic riding experience.
Underneath it all, you had a 149cc engine pushing out 16.8 brake horsepower at 8,500 RPM, managed by a 6-speed transmission. And here's the kicker, absolutely zero ABS. Seriously, no electronic safety nets at all. It was just you, the throttle, and your reflexes. This created a highly agile and totally unfiltered connection to the road. You definitely had to pay attention in those corners, that's for sure.
Moving right along to Chapter 2, Gen 2 Gets Sharper, covering 2011 to 2016.
The aggressive new aerodynamics of the Gen 2 really stepped up the game. It became sharper, faster, and stronger. Yamaha gave it an updated engine for better refinement. And while it was technically built for the daily street commute, its geometry and suspension were undeniably track-obsessed.
When you compare these early eras side by side, Gen 2 squeezed out a slight performance bump, going up to 17.1 brake horsepower. But the real headline here? Safety. This era introduced single-channel ABS to the platform. That was a massive leap forward in keeping the rubber side down and giving riders a whole lot more confidence.
Next up, Chapter 3, Gen 3 Design Revolution. This covers the major leap from 2017 to 2021. This transition brought us an undeniably stunning, entirely new design language. It adopted this highly aerodynamic supersport presence. It literally looked like it belonged straight on a professional starting grid. And beneath that beautiful fairing, a huge milestone hit. Fuel injection was officially introduced. That meant crisper throttle response and way better efficiency.
So, the crucial point here is that the real magic happened inside the new, slightly larger 155cc engine block with the introduction of VVA, or variable valve actuation. Now, this wasn't just a simple displacement upsize. Think of VVA as a smart system that optimizes performance at all speeds. Whether you're stuck crawling in city traffic or opening it up on a straightaway, the engine adapts to give you perfectly smooth, accessible power exactly when you need it.
And the result of that brilliant VVA tech, a massive jump up to 19.3 brake horsepower at 10,000 RPM. That actually makes Gen 3 the most powerful iteration of the motorcycle in terms of raw bhp numbers. But hey, with great power comes the need for great brakes, right? So Yamaha sensibly stepped up the hardware, bringing dual-channel ABS to the lineup to safely handle all that extra juice.
All right, Chapter 4, Gen 4 Ultimate Control. Welcome to the modern era, 2022 to the present.
Which brings us to Gen 4. The underlying mantra here is super simple. More power, more control, more R15. It basically takes the aggressive visual cues we loved in Gen 3 and refines them into this highly sophisticated track weapon. But somehow, it manages to remain astonishingly comfortable for your everyday ride.
The modern specs are actually pretty fascinating. The new 155cc liquid-cooled FI engine delivers 18.4 brake horsepower and 14.2 Newton-meters of torque at 7,500 RPM. Now, you might notice the raw horsepower is slightly lower than Gen 3. Actually, scratch that. It's not about the raw number. The usable control is light years ahead.
All that power is now tamed by a brand new traction control system. Combined with dual-channel ABS, the TCS ensures maximum grip and confidence, literally no matter what the road throws at you.
Finally, Chapter 5. The R15 legacy continues.
Just thinking about where it started versus where it is now brilliantly illustrates how far we've come. We have the light, raw Gen 1 from back in 2008 contrasted directly against the highly aerodynamic, technologically sophisticated Gen 4 we see today. It's the exact same core Trek-inspired DNA, just completely evolved and refined for the modern rider.
The safety evolution alone is an incredible subplot here. Remember, we started in Gen 1 with absolutely zero electronic aids. Then Gen 2 brought our first safety net with single-channel ABS. Gen 3 upgraded that to dual-channel, and today, Gen 4 gives us maximum ultimate confidence by tying that dual-channel ABS to a highly advanced traction control system. For all the gearheads out there, seeing this spec-by-spec performance duel over time is just a thing of beauty. We trace that initial 149cc engine pushing 16.8 bhp, stepping up slightly in Gen 2. Then bam, we get the major VVA jump to 155cc and 19.3 bhp in Gen 3, before finally settling into the highly refined, traction-controlled 18.4 bhp of the modern Gen 4.
But you know, beyond the spec sheets and horsepower graphs, what this platform really built was a culture. From its early track DNA to its highly evolved street performance, the R15 has created a massive, passionate community of riders worldwide. It just goes to show that one machine really can unite millions of memories and emotions.
So as we wrap up this explainer, I've got to turn it over to you. We've seen it evolve from a raw 2008 pioneer to a modern technological marvel. So what does this all mean for your own riding dreams? Which R15 generation truly captures the spirit of the